Hey y'all. So back with another video today, and I know normally when you guys, well, if you're returning to the channel, you'll realize that in my other videos I'm pretty much always talking about something business related, something that has to do with home care or the home care industry, things like that, and that is not what's on the menu today. Today we're talking about how to get through a Donald Trump presidency. Okay, so the world is in a bit of a frenzy right now, and that's just, I guess, putting it mildly. um I haven't really been on social media too much lately, but I just hate the fact that when I did decide to kind of reactivate my social media profile and start to possibly engage a little bit, it had to be in this type of climate, because the only topic that is on everybody's brain right now is what's going on with the new president, some of the decisions that he is making, and I get it. You know what I mean? People are scared, people are uncertain as it relates to their personal everyday lives. They're uncertain as it relates to their jobs, um, all kinds of things. So I get it. You know what I mean? But if you know me, you'll know that I am not a political person. I don't engage in conversations too much that have to do with politics. I try to stay as far away from it as I can, just simply because um, it's just one of those things that annoys me, to be quite honest. So I just kind of stay away from it so I don't have to feel those feelings. Um, but in any case, today the purpose of this video is just to engage with you guys and talk to you guys about how you can get through a Donald Trump presidency and protect your peace during this time. Okay, so the first thing, and these are just my thoughts and my opinions, but the first thing I would say is that we need to focus on the things that we can control. There is a lot that's going on right now that we have zero control over it. So in order to protect your peace, let's focus on the things that we do have control over, and those are the things that I wanted to talk about in this video. So one of the biggest ways I feel like we can protect our peace during this time and make it, a bit easier to get through would be to curate your social media. That is going to be, I feel like, one of the biggest things that we can do. um I had been doing that even before we got into this big political climate and everything that's going on right now as it relates to the president. What I mean by curate your social media, I mean you need to be intentional and control what it is you see on your social media and on your timeline. Don't sit there and keep looking at the things over and over and over that are upsetting to you, that are annoying to you, that are making your mind constantly race and think about the things that are stressing you out, i.e., presidency, executive orders, fear, gloom, doom, that, you know what I mean? It's very easy to determine what it is that you can see and what you're looking at on your social media. So there's a wonderful button called unfollow. Okay. So, you know what I mean? It's very simple that if someone is constantly posting things that are making you continuously think about this topic and this topic is stressing you out, hit the unfollow button. You know what I mean? That doesn't unfriend them or take them off of your friends list or anything like that, but it does make it so that you don't see those constant posts that are stressing you out and making you continuously think about a topic that you don't want to or don't need to think about. Now, the second thing you can do in that regard is you actually can unfriend. You know what I mean? If somebody is posting things that you just get to a point where and you decide that what they're constantly posting doesn't align with something you want to see ever, because like unfollow, you can even do that just for a period of time, or you could do it permanently. But unfriend, if you just feel like you don't want to ever see what this person is posting, just simply unfriend them. It's not really that deep. It doesn't mean that there's a major issue or there's beef or there's going to be confrontation if you guys ever see each other. It just simply means that, either I'm not interested in the things that you post, or I did find out that maybe I just simply don't like you, and I, you know, unfriend. You know what I mean? It's not that deep. And then the third thing that we can do is we can delete social media altogether. Like, you do have that option. It's as simple as deactivating your page. It could be a permanent move, or it could be just for a period of time to say, hey, you know what? This political climate is stressing me out. I just need a break. I need to be able to control my mental space. And so I'm just going to deactivate for a while. It'll be back, you know what I mean? Whenever you're ready to come back to it, it's always there. But all I'm trying to say is that you do have control over your social media and how the things that are being posted are affecting you. The next thing that I say that we need to have a lot more control over, and that's our conversations with people. A lot of times in this climate, it's almost a guarantee that you could be talking about anything, any topic, and somehow, some way, a person is going to insert something political into the conversation. And sometimes it's not a problem, but to be quite honest, the way it's overwhelming a lot of people right now, I'll I'll be the first one to say that this climate is a bit overwhelming for me. But the way it's overwhelming a lot of other people, we just need to learn how to curate these types of conversations. When you see a conversation headed down that path, it's really easy to change the subject and just kind of switch the topic. If you don't want to talk about it and you're exhausted with talking about it, then go ahead and change the topic. Um, Sometimes people do it because they don't know what else to talk about. And I mean, I get it. It's natural, but at the same time, if you don't want to engage in a conversation, then you can simply pivot and change to another topic. You know what I mean? It's literally that simple. And to be quite honest, we need to be mindful of even if you do want to talk about what's going on, make sure you're having these conversations that you can really have these conversations, and it's not with people who is going to be an upsetting conversation. You know what I mean? There are certain groups of people that I refuse to engage in topics as it relates to politics. I'm not going to engage in those conversations because I know it's not going to end well. You know what I mean? A lot of times I know that they're not going to have an understanding, or even if they have an understanding, their viewpoint is going to be so far off and so far left from where my viewpoint and my standpoint is that the conversation is pointless. You know what I mean? Sometimes people aren't even having these conversations to educate one another or to come to any kind of understanding. They're just having these conversations because they want to argue. They want to argue their point, or they want to shove their point of view down your throat. And what's the point of that? You know what I mean? I'm just at a point where there's certain groups of people, and I won't get into, I'll leave that to your own imagination, but there are certain groups of people that I know for a fact that I'm not interested in. Not only am I not interested in hearing their point of view on a certain topic, I already know what it is. I don't agree, and really there's no conversation to be had. I'm also not interested in trying to get them to see my point of view or how I feel about. I already know. So me having that conversation is really pointless. And so I've just kind of set those boundaries in place where even if I'm having a conversation with someone in a particular group, when they bring up the conversations that I don't want to discuss, I'll simply even say, you know what? If we're going to remain friends, friendly, whatever terminology that you want to use, if we're going to remain friends, I would just ask that we not even talk about that. It's literally that simple, and if it's a person that respects and values your friendship, or whatever type of relationship you guys have, they'll respect that. Simply, hey, if we're going to remain friends, I would just like it if we don't even have those conversations. That's it. You know what I mean? You control your space and the types of conversations that you have. So the next thing I would say that we need to be really careful about is constantly watching the news. Now, again, if you know me, I don't watch the news. I might have a time here or there if I'm sitting there watching TV and say my husband is watching the news or my grandmother's watching the news, or if I'm flicking through and and it just happens to be something that catches my ear, I may take a listen for a minute or two. But in general, I don't watch the news. Why? Because it's so negative. It's a loop of negativity, and they play this loop over and over and over, and it's just so upsetting that why would I sit there and subject myself to that? You know what I mean? A lot of the stories are sad. Some of the stories piss you off, and to sit there and watch it over and over, you know what I mean? A lot of times you'll realize, if you know me or if you have conversations with me, I'm so far out of the loop. People will bring up, oh, you didn't hear about, I'm like, I didn't even know that happened. You know what I mean? And I'm just intentional about that. Like I would stress to other people during this climate, with this being the main topic that's going to be on the news, every station that you turn to saying the same thing over and over. We're people are already scared enough. People are already upset enough. You've already seen it on every social media site that you have. You've already seen it on, if any search engine that you use. You've seen it. You've seen it and you've heard it, and you've seen it and you heard it. What is the point in continuing to watch it on the news over and over and over? So I'm not saying just bury your head in the sand like I do, because I know there are pros and cons to that as well. But what I'm saying is be intentional about the amount of time that you watch these same stories over and over, because it does have an effect on your mental space. So that's one thing. The next thing I would say is be selective about your social circle in times like this. Now is probably a good time to pull closer to the people who you can, find comfort in, that you can be yourself around, that you can speak freely if you do choose to talk about the things that are going on around us, people that is safe to do that with. I would say just be really specific and really intentional about your social circle right now, because it's important. Mental health and being able to feel safe around the people that you spend time with and that you can be open with and have conversations with, it's super important. So I would say now is a good time to pull close to the people that you do, you know love, respect, that you guys share similarities in your thinking and things like that. Now is a good time to pull closer to those people, and not so much with just being loose about your circle. The next thing I would say is I feel like we need to compartmentalize. This is looking a little weird. Sorry about that. But I would say we really need to compartmentalize. So much is being thrown at us with a lot of these stories. Every time I turn around, there's this topic that everyone's upset about. There's that topic that everybody's upset about. And I'm not saying that any one of these topics are any more or less important than the other. All of these topics are important, and they affect a lot of different people. But I feel like there is a capacity that we all have mentally. There's a mental capacity, there's an emotional capacity. And with all these different things being thrown at us, I feel like we need to pick and choose what we focus our mental energy on. Like right now, say for instance, and I'll just pick a topic, you know, there's a lot going on as it relates to gay rights, trans rights, um, and things like that. Now, while this is an important topic, of course, um, it doesn't directly relate to me. So because there's so much going on in this space and so many different topics and things that are pulling on my energy, that's one of the ones that, you know what, it's important. I'm not saying I'll never think about it, but when I'm reviewing all these lists of things that, you know, are on the agenda to be a worry and a concern, that's one of the things that I'm not going to worry about. You know what I mean? Social security and stuff like that, you know, yes, it's important, and it's most definitely important to a lot of the people that I love. Heck, it's important to um, the entire demographic of people that I deal with in my business. But as far as things that if I need to focus my mental energy on, all I'm saying is we have to pick and choose. You know, when we see those lists come out and the things that are, you know, the changes that are going to be made and this and that and things like that, try to really narrow down the things that you focus your mental and emotional energy on, because what I'm saying is you can't focus on it all. It's impossible. And these are reasons why a lot of people right now are extremely overwhelmed, because we're trying to take it all in. We're trying to tackle it all, and we can't. So, compartmentalize, you know, think about the things that are directly impacting you and your family right now. Focus on those things first. I'm not saying don't ever think about or address the other topics and the other issues, but you know, as far as if there's a hierarchy, go ahead and focus on the things that are going to directly impact you and your family, and then the other things, you know, as you have more mental capacity to take those on. What was another thing? I would say during this time, surviving the Donald Trump presidency, we definitely need to be more conscious about our money, how we're spending it, how we're investing it, how we're making it, all of those things. I would say now is not the time, not that there's ever a real time to be frivolous with your money, but I'm saying right now, have a couple extra thoughts, you know, before you make decisions with your money. I'm not saying don't do anything and, you know, stockpile and hoard your money, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is right now, with the level of uncertainty that we have, that we need to be a little bit careful. Now, what I will say, watch what the rich and powerful, watch what they're going to do during these times, because we kind of need to look at what they're doing and kind of follow suit. Unfortunately, during times like this where there's a lot of I guess I could use the word tragedy and things like that, during these times there is a lot of money to be made, but it's for the people who know how to do it. Okay, I'm trying to say certain things without saying too much, but like, say for instance, okay, I'll use this as an example: COVID. So during that time, it was horrible. You know, it was horrible. It was a tragedy. It was all of those things. However, a lot of people made more money in COVID than ever before. um I'll say I may be one of them. I won't not at that exact moment that I make more money than I ever did, but I was able to position myself at that time to make more money than I ever had. So I will say, be mindful with your money, don't be frivolous, but also use this as a time to see if you can position yourself to um to be better coming out than you were going in. I'll leave that at that. Next thing I'll say is try to embrace the things that make you happy right now. There's a lot right now where we could be unhappy about because of everything going on around us, but try to embrace the things that do make you happy. You know what I mean? Like a couple of the things, just simple things that make me happy. New candles. You know, you know what I mean? I like to buy new candles. I like the aroma. I just like the effect that it has on my mood. Sitting in my house, relaxing, cleaning my house, just having a nice clean space and a good smelling candle. You know, if there's a certain person that you like to spend time with, do that. If there's a certain hobby that you have, do that. You know, there is more to do than to focus on gloom, doom, destruction, the sky is falling. Like, it's in our faces and we get it. All of this stuff is important and it has to be dealt with and it has to be addressed, but the way it's just being thrown at us in every way, you got to balance that out with some things that make you happy. One of the last things I want to say about how to make it through a Donald Trump presidency, realize that we are going to make it through this. We made it through hard times before. We're going to make it through this. I'm not trying to sugarcoat and act like things aren't crazy and can't get worse and whatever, but we're going to get through this. You know what I mean? We've gotten through, especially, I won't go there. We're going to get through this. Especially certain groups of us, we've been through worse, and we find a way to survive it. So, I get it. This situation is, let's just say, I'm not trying to minimize anything. All I'm trying to do is say we're going to get through this. The last thing I'm going to say about how to get through a Donald Trump presidency is you need to subscribe to my channel. No, I'm playing with you guys, but what I'm saying in that regard is you need to build a community during this time. You know what I mean? You need to, no matter if it's YouTube, no matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, build a community of people that you can go to their pages and you can see the type of content that that lifts you up, that encourages you, that puts you in the right mental space, that entertains you, that is not so much gloom and doom and worry and everything else that everybody else is talking about. You need a space where you can go and it's like, okay, I'm getting away from that. You know what I mean? So yeah, on this page, most of the time I am going to be talking about business. I am going to be talking about home care related things. However, if you look at the banner on this page, it is life and business with Makia. So, you know what I mean? I won't just be talking about business all the time. I'll be doing videos like this where it's just about whatever's on my mind, things like that. So I don't want to ramble. I just that was on my mind. I really felt like, this was something that I wanted to get out, and hopefully it helps someone. If you guys could actually drop down in the comments and let me know, what are you doing that you feel like is going to help you get through these times? You know what I mean? What are some things self-care wise that you're doing? What are some things that maybe, the topics that I covered, like curating your social media, curating your social circles and your conversations and things like that? What are some of the things that you have implemented in your own life or will be implementing in your own life that you feel like are going to be helpful for you getting through this? So that's all I got for you guys. Let me know. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Hopefully this helps somebody. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see any other videos I drop. It's going to be completely random. I was trying to stick to a schedule and do, a video certain days of the week and whatever. But actually, I'm just going to do how I feel. If I have an unction, I want to talk about something, I'm going to just pick up my phone, record, upload it, and, hopefully whoever needs it finds it. So all right, y'all, that's all I got.